Welcome, another short episode of Dr. James Beckett Sports Card Insights. Welcome to the weekend. Another response to an email from a serious collector who had a question that I think could be applicable to other than just him. But first, thanks to sponsors, Beckett Media, Beckett Grading, Beckett Authentication, ComC.com, Burbank Sports Cards, Mike's Stadium Sports Cards, Heritage Auctions, Huggins & Scott Auctions, Upper Deck, Panini, and Topps. I got this very nice email, well thought out, in response to the job opportunities situation. One of the things that's interesting, when I get these letters, one of the things I ask the people is if I do mention this on a podcast, do you want to be anonymous? Or do you want some details? And this person chose to be anonymous for good reasons, and I'm fine with that. But I just got to tell you, when somebody comes up to me, and even in the industry, and says, well, there's this dealer, and I can't mention his name, but then they'll say where he lives or what, some other clues that allow me to narrow down the anonymity. So I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to preserve this guy's anonymity. But he's an advanced collector, passionate collector, has a great collection. I think the question he's asking about is that as he has completed some of the hobby goals that he has, he's trying to figure out what's next, and he thinks about 5 hours a week to dedicate based on his job situation and family situation and all of that. So I think that this question is about somewhat about moderation. There's a group of psychologists, I think, that any avid hobbyist is addicted. I don't agree with that, but if those who are addicted have problems with, is it an addiction that can be moderated, or do you have to be quit cold turkey? Alcoholics, there's just those schools of thought. So within the hobby, hopefully there's a moderation aspect. If you're again with the balance with the rest of your life, if you've got 5 hours a week, then how best to spend those 5 hours, especially if you've completed one major hobby quest, which this guy has. My hat's off to him. I have heard his story, and again, he's passionate about. I'm not going to give it away, so because if I give you a clue, you might figure it out. But so he's gotten most of the cards that he wanted. I don't suggest in 5 hours a week you move over and do memorabilia. I don't even know. Again, if you're from your story, you're a little bit of a completist, which I am too. And I just think when you start collecting memorabilia from your favorite team or your favorite player, you get into a lot of money, and you can't even have a checklist because there's always one more thing. What I've done in my 5 hours a week in trying to focus some of my collecting is that and this might be an idea for my respondent, is I've done a little wall of fame, whereas rather than doing cases, cards that are put away in boxes, or I've done kind of a wall of fame where I've got one card per person, per celebrity, per player, that allows me, when somebody comes over, to tell a story about that player. So I pick, I have other cards of that player, but I've got a Roberto Clemente there, and they say, oh, tell me about that card or that player or that story, and then you go over it's ABCD. It's a big wall. A few of you have seen that. So this guy's a super collector thinking, what's next? The point of the earlier job opportunities podcast that generated this letter is that, do you want to work for somebody, or do you want to be your own boss? And I think if you've got 5 hours a week, you probably want to be your own boss and use that a way to engage with your hobby. I don't usually advise people to go find a passion. It's kind of like if you win the lottery and then you try to figure out who to, and you want to give away 10% of the money out of gratitude, there will be a huge line at your door. And if you don't already have a passion, there are going to be a lot of people suggesting passions for you, but you need to have a passion that you have. I don't have, you did mention, again, some other particulars about your life, including your family situation, and you have a child, not to be named or gendered, but you have a child that may have some interest. At 5 hours a week to have something that would be fun with your child, that's double blessing. You get to enjoy the hobby, and you're bringing your son/daughter, whichever it might be that I'm not saying. I think that's a nice way to do it. again, it just sounds like you've been at such a level in the industry, in the hobby, that you want to manage it. And I think that's a nice way to do it. I know what it was like for me when I completed the sets that I was most, and then I thought, what am I going to do? And then I started doing autographs. And then again, you can always have another project, but at some point, like I say, it's got to be moderated. So thank you for bringing this to our attention. If anybody else out there is looking to moderate and to get the maximum fun and collecting out of 5 hours a week, again, I don't think this is the last word on this topic, because it did strike a responsive chord. So thanks, unnamed listener, unnamed to y'all, but not to me. And I will look forward to having further dialogue with you. And again, if other people have comments or questions, send them in to drjamesbeckett@gmail.com, all spelled out. So thanks again. Have a good weekend. I'll be back again on Monday with another full episode.